The last patient. The fluorescent lights of St. Michael's Hospital hummed their familiar tune as Dr. Sarah Mitchell walked through the corridor on the 15th floor. It was 10:30 at night, and most of the building had settled into that peculiar quiet that hospitals get. Not silent, never silent, but hushed, as if the walls themselves were holding their breath. Sarah had been working at St. Michael's for 7 years now. She knew every corner of this place, every creaking door and flickering light. At 34, she was one of the youngest senior physicians on staff, specializing in cardiology. She had earned her position through countless sleepless nights and an almost obsessive dedication to her patients. Tonight, however, she was tired. The kind of tired that seeps into your bones and makes every step feel like you're walking through water. She rounded the corner to the private wing, the section reserved for the hospital's wealthiest patients. Room 1507 was at the end of the hall, and she could already feel the weight of what awaited her inside. His name was Marcus Ashford. 42 years old, self-made millionaire, real estate mogul, and according to every test they had run over the past 3 weeks, a man who would be dead within 6 months if he continued to refuse treatment. Sarah paused outside his door, gathering herself. She had tried everything. Logic, statistics, even emotional appeals. But Marcus remained unmoved. He had signed every refusal form, declined every procedure. He simply wanted to be left alone to die in peace. It made no sense. He was young, strong, and his condition was treatable. A series of cardiac procedures, some lifestyle changes, and he could have decades ahead of him. But he had looked her straight in the eye during their last conversation and said, "I'm done, Dr. Mitchell. I've lived my life. I'm ready for it to end." She knocked softly and entered. The room was dimly lit, the curtains drawn against the city lights outside. Marcus sat in the chair by the window, dressed in an expensive silk pajama set that looked absurd in the clinical setting. He didn't turn when she entered. "Mr. Ashford," she said gently, "how are you feeling tonight?" "The same as yesterday, doctor. And the day before that." His voice was smooth, educated, but there was an emptiness in it that made Sarah's chest tighten. She moved closer, pulling up a chair beside him. "Your latest scans came back. The deterioration is progressing faster than we anticipated." "Is that your way of telling me I'm dying faster than expected?" He finally turned to look at her, and she was struck, as always, by how clear his eyes were. Blue-gray, like a winter sky. There was intelligence there, and something else. A deep, aching weariness. "Yes," she admitted. There was no point in sugarcoating it anymore. Marcus nodded slowly and turned back to the window. Good. Sarah felt something snap inside her. She had maintained her professional composure for weeks now, had followed all the proper protocols, had documented his refusals and consulted with ethics boards. But sitting here, watching this man actively choose death when life was within reach, she couldn't stay silent anymore. Why? The word came out sharper than she intended. He raised an eyebrow. "Why what, doctor? Why are you doing this? You're 42 years old. You have resources most people can only dream of. You could have treatment, recovery, a full life ahead of you. Why are you choosing to die?" Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Then he smiled. But it was the saddest smile Sarah had ever seen. "Do you know what it's like, Dr. Mitchell, to spend 20 years building an empire? Working 18-hour days, sacrificing everything, relationships, friendships, health, all for what? Money? Success?" He shook his head. "I have 3 ex-wives who hate me. I have 2 children I barely know. I have a penthouse apartment that I sleep in maybe 3 nights a week. I have more money than I could spend in 10 lifetimes, and not a single person who would genuinely mourn me." "That's not a reason to give up," Sarah said softly. "Isn't it?" Marcus turned to face her fully now. "I'm tired, doctor. I'm so tired. And the thought of fighting for more years of this emptiness, I just don't have it in me." Sarah felt tears prick at her eyes, but she blinked them back. She shouldn't be getting this emotional. It wasn't professional. But she couldn't help it. What if it doesn't have to be empty? She heard herself say. What if there's another way? Marcus studied her face. "What are you suggesting?" And that's when Sarah made a decision that would change everything. A decision that went against every rule in her professional handbook, that could cost her license, her career, everything she had worked for. "Let me make you a deal," she said, her heart pounding. "Give me 3 months. Let us do the procedures you need. Let us save your life. And in return, I'll help you find a reason to want to be alive." Marcus stared at her as if she had lost her mind. "You're serious. Completely serious. Dr. Mitchell, you're a cardiologist, not a therapist. I'm aware of that. But I'm also a human being who refuses to watch you die when I know I can save you." Sarah leaned forward. 3 months, Marcus. That's all I'm asking. If at the end of 3 months you still want to give up, then I'll respect that. But give me a chance." The silence stretched between them. Sarah could hear her own heartbeat in her ears, could feel the magnitude of what she was offering. This was crossing every professional boundary. If anyone found out, she could lose everything. But looking into Marcus Ashford's empty eyes, she knew she had to try. Finally, Marcus spoke. "Why do you care so much?" Sarah took a breath. "Because 10 years ago, my brother made the same choice you're making. He was depressed, exhausted, felt like his life had no meaning. He refused help, and one day he just gave up." Her voice cracked. 6 months after he died, his daughter was born. My niece. She's 9 now, and she'll never know her father. And I think about all the moments he's missing, all the love he could have had, and I can't watch someone else make that choice if there's any way to prevent it. She hadn't meant to tell him that. The words had just spilled out, raw and honest. Marcus's expression softened. For the first time since she had met him, she saw something other than resignation in his eyes. She saw the faintest flicker of curiosity. 3 months, he said finally. Sarah felt her breath catch. 3 months. 3 months, he confirmed. But if you're wrong, Dr. Mitchell, if there's nothing worth staying for, you let me go. Deal. Sarah extended her hand. Deal. They shook on it, and Sarah felt the weight of what she had just committed to. She had 3 months to save a man's life, not just medically, but spiritually, emotionally. 3 months to help him find meaning in a world he had given up on. As she left his room that night, Sarah had no idea how she was going to do it. But she knew one thing for certain. She wouldn't let Marcus Ashford die without a fight. The next morning, Sarah started making calls. She scheduled his surgeries, arranged for the best surgical team, and began planning what came after. But she also did something else, something that had nothing to do with medicine. She started planning how to show a dying millionaire what it meant to truly live, and so began the most important 3 months of both their lives.